Huh. Well, tell me about your dad. He passed away before I was ever born. What was he like?
Tell you the truth, Dad, up until the last few years of his life, we lived in Sheridan, out in the country, and he worked for Williams Lumber Company. But what he done was out with other men, and they would saw down trees and load them on the wagons or whatever they had to take and make lumber out of them. And he would leave the house of a morning before daylight, walking to go to town because we didn't even have a car for a long time. And he would get in after we had gone to bed a lot of times. We didn't see much of him. And he finally got a car, an old car. And I remember we was having what was it, family reunion. They had them every year down at Sheridan. And I can remember that old car because coming back it was raining and the windshield wiper you had to do it by hand.
Right.
And it was raining when we got back home. But I remember that. Oh, but as far as seeing and really knowing him, he was busy all the time. And on Saturday, of course, he didn't work on Saturday and Sunday, but they would buy groceries and they would deliver them out. And a lot of times he would come by, ride with them coming out with the groceries. But he was a busy man all that time. I mean, I remember he worked down close to, where was it? Sheridan somewhere. No, it wasn't Sheridan, that's where we lived. And I remember one summer, I think Uncle Art and Aunt Emma was visiting from California. Aunt Emma was Dad's sister. And they took us down there where Dad was staying. And we could see the lights from El Dorado from that room we were sitting in.
Huh.
And we didn't stay there though, with about a day or two, and then we had to come back home. But he would usually come in on the weekends when he was working out of town. But that's what he did, was the whole first few years of his life. And then after the war started, he got a job up here at a tie plant, working a crane on these railroad ties and telephone poles, Crystal. And the last few years of his life, that's where he worked. And every weekend, look out, he's going fishing. And we'd get fishing. We'd get up. A lot of times he was working an evening shift. And he would come in at about daylight. Mama would have the coffee pot on. He'd drink a cup, get out there and get his boat, put it up on top of the car with cushions under and tie it down. And him and Mom and some of us kids would go with him. He knew every lake around that place. I mean, from miles around. And that's what he'd done on his time off. And I remember more than once walking over to tie plant. I don't know if I was taking his lunch to him or just going to see him for something else. And he was there for the last few years of his life. And he was still working there when I went in the Navy. Because I remember coming home on leave once and I walked over the tie plant where he was. And Your Aunt Joyce has got it. He had gone down to Sheridan. Everybody called him Rip. Today, Joyce and I cannot find out how he got that nickname. His name is Albert Rudolph. And I never heard him called anything but Rip.
Huh.
By neighbors, by church. And I never thought nothing about it. And Joyce and I was talking the other day about it. She said, I know, said there's nobody living now that knows why he called him Rip. And I don't have any idea. But after we moved there, we got to see him more often when he'd come in. Of course, every Sunday we'd go to church, Sunday school, preaching. And that wasn't far from the house at the time. We lived in Rose City out there.
Hmm.
And I remember one time, him and Herbert Wilson, one of the neighbors. I don't know, Daddy run into him somewhere. They decided they'd go, turkey season was coming in. They'd go turkey hunting. So he told Daddy he still lived. Daddy lived up here, but he lives down at Sheridan. He knew and been out, and he said he knows where the turkeys are. So he told Dad to come on down and meet him, and we'll go turkey hunting. Dad got up, sure enough, early, and got down, knocked on his door, and his wife come to the door and said, well, he's already gone, Rip. And he had already gone and left Daddy behind. Daddy went ahead in the woods looking, and believe it or not, he got a turkey. And it had come out in the paper, a picture of him holding that turkey with his wings open. And they come out and Joyce has got a picture of that.
Yeah, I've got the picture of the turkey in the newspaper.
Yeah. And I don't know if his friend ever got his turkey or not.